Hi, guys, and welcome back to my podcast. Today we have a very special interview. The owner of the Raw Knuckles podcast, a Montreal Canadian star, Chris Nilan. Let's go!
Hey there, Zander. How are you, pal?
How you doing?
I am well. How about you?
I'm doing very well this morning.
Good
Very well.
stuff. So, I saw that you've done a few podcasts with some different people and a little research. Good for you. I think it's awesome what you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Inspiring. Awesome stuff.
Thank you. So what we're going to do is we're just going to ask you a couple of questions, and then near the end, we're just going to ask you some rapid fire questions about the Canadians and your career. And that's what basically all the other questions are going to be about.
Cool. I'm ready.
All right. So I first want to start off by thanking you for joining my podcast. It's an honor to have you on, and congratulations on your whole career and the Raw Knuckles podcast. And it's amazing. I just want to thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. It's fun to do the podcast. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my radio show when I had it, but that's no longer. So I started the podcast, and it's been fun. Quite a bit to learn for me. Being 64 years of age and starting something entirely new. So it's been a learning experience for sure.
I love interviewing people. That's what I've been doing for about 2 years now, and it's just amazing talking with people and conversations.
Cool.
So, what was it like growing up in Boston? And you had a passion for hockey and a big fan of Bobby Orr. Did you play any other sports growing up?
I did. I played a little bit of baseball. I got bored with it. I hated standing around and out in right field and not being involved. It wasn't enough action for me. I played football, Pop Warner football, which I loved playing.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I played that 2 years. We won a championship my second year, and that was a whole lot of fun. I loved it. And I didn't go to the next level in football. I started really focusing on hockey. I loved hockey, and I'm like, I've tried the other sports. I played basketball down the schoolyard with my friends and stuff like that, but I loved hockey, and I wanted to focus on hockey. So I I stopped playing the other sports, organized sports. I played, with my friends and stuff like that. We played pickup baseball, basketball, played tag football down the schoolyard and stuff like that. But hockey,
Your real focus was hockey.
I just took over with the hockey end of things.
So, when you were at Northeastern University, you had an opportunity to play against the Boston Bruins. Well, what did you think at that point? Did you really think, oh wow, I could start playing at this level and I could play against...
When I was at Northeastern?
Yeah.
Did you say? Yeah. We played one game against them, and it wasn't really a game. They just come around and, they were there because our coach, Fernie Flaman, played for the Bruins, and he got them to come over and play like an exhibition game with us. And I guess I didn't really think that at the time. I always thought, I'm going to make it to the NHL. I'm going to find a way to get there. And so being on the ice with them at that point in college, not so much. And we almost had a fight actually during that game.
Yeah.
One of our players, Mark Coates, a little guy, ended up hitting Mike Milbury, and he hit him pretty low. And then they all came after Mark, and I came in, and O'Reilly was there, and they all surrounded me. And I'm like, I didn't want to have to fight, but I was there just in case something happened. And it really left a bad taste in their mouth, the Bruins, because of what happened. That one player acting like an idiot, not realizing that, the Bruins were there doing us a favor, and he goes and hits a guy who's making his living playing hockey. So it was a great experience, but it was a bad one. be honest with you.
So you get drafted by the Montreal Canadiens. How did it feel being drafted by one of Boston's biggest rivals?
Well, being a Bruins fan growing up, and just loving everything about the Bruins, and then getting drafted by the Habs. Listen, I was happy I got drafted. I was really happy, but I was a little bummed out it wasn't the Bruins. And you know, it's funny, a lot of people thought, oh, they get drafted by the Montreal Canadiens. Here they won 4 Stanley Cups in a row. This kid never have a chance to make that team. And really, that was the thought. Okay, he got drafted, but he's not going anywhere with that. And I soon changed people's minds pretty quickly.
So after 49 games with Nova Scotia, you get called up to Montreal. How did you find out, like, what it was like? Like, what was it like to walk in the room with so many hockey greats?
Well, it was intimidating, to be honest with you. My first training camp was intimidating, but I went down to Nova Scotia. I found out pretty much what the pro game was all about. I fought almost every night down there. It was difficult, but I enjoyed my job. I didn't come in the league thinking I was going to be a fighter, right? I came in, I wanted to be a hockey player, and yeah, I was going to play tough, but I didn't think that fighting was going to be the central part of my game at the beginning. But that being said, when I got called up, I went to Atlanta, and I was really nervous because here I am, now I'm on the big stage. And I remember having the first pregame meal that day when I got in late at night, and nobody was really there to meet me. One person, the road secretary. I got my room, I was by myself, and I got up, come down in the morning to have pregame meal, and started talking to Rod Langway, Larry Robinson come and talk to me. I was like, everybody welcomed me, but I was like, man, it just felt weird,
Because you were finally there, and it's just,
I'm gonna get my chance. And I certainly I remember that first game. I played probably about 2 shifts a period, and honestly, I was frozen a bit. I think I won't say I choked, but I wasn't being myself. I was so nervous. I'm there. Come on, just go play. And my second game was in Philadelphia 2 nights later. And then I became more myself because I was so disappointed after the first game because I froze. I wasn't doing the things that got me to the NHL, and not necessarily fighting, but just go play the game. I was more watching the first game, and the second game, I got involved right away. I got physical. I forechecked well. I went to the net. I got an assist on a winning goal, and I had a fight. I got my first fight under my belt, and that felt good that I got that out of the way. But little did I know there was many more to come.
So you were one of the toughest players to ever play the game, but you could also score, which is amazing. In 1985, you had 21 goals and 358 penalty minutes.
Something like that.
How do you even get 358 penalty minutes?
Well, you fight a lot. And certainly when you're in that position, you're fighting. Back then, there were a lot of guys in the league that could fight and did fight. And I was a guy that would always protect my teammates, my smaller teammates, or my bigger teammates. It didn't matter, any one of my teammates. And you'd be in situations in Boston or Philadelphia, Quebec, wherever, where teams try and intimidate you. They try and scare you into not playing. Put fear in the other team, so maybe they're not going to pass the puck as good. Maybe they're not going to take that shot. Maybe they're not going to go to the net. Maybe they're not going to go in the corner first. And if you have someone on your team who's able to stand up to that aggression like I did, it gives the other guys confidence. They know that, okay, someone's going to be there for us. Someone's going to be able to handle that part of the game for us. And I remember when I used to go into Boston, there'd be maybe 4 to 5 guys on that team that were potential fighters. Same in Philadelphia. So I often would not wait for something to happen. I'd go make something happen. Because if you wait, they get to establish what they want to do. And if you go out and take the aggression to them, not only does it maybe put them a bit back in the heels, but it gives my teammates a boost. They're like, okay, anybody on my team who thought, well, maybe tonight's not going to be my night. Maybe I'm not going to do this. Maybe, you know, I'm going to get run through the glass. Well, when I go out there and set that tone, you better follow me, you know, and oftentimes they did. And we were very successful as a team. And again, that's just part of what we did as a team, but that psychology of standing up to that aggression, it rubbed off on my teammates, and in turn, you know, they would play the game.
So you played with so many great hockey players. Is there one player that has had like the biggest impact on you?
Yeah. That's a tough one. I'd say Bob Gainey.
Yeah.
Bob Gainey, because he really he helped bring me along. He would talk to me about certain parts of my game that I needed to understand in order to become an everyday NHL player. Bob, I used to follow Bob around the rink and try and emulate his stride to become a better skater. He had a really long stride, and you know, I was a short, choppy skater at the beginning, and he really helped me with that. But he also helped me with the, you know, when we had certain systems that we would apply in the game as a team, and you had to be in a certain place and react a certain way so everything worked in unison.
Yeah.
He really helped me with a lot of that, and helped me become a better defensive player. And in turn, we benefited offensively from being a bit better defensive line altogether. We used to get all the tough assignments and played against all the top scoring lines on the other teams. Myself, Bob Gainey, and Guy Carbonneau. And both those guys really helped me a lot in that area. So yeah, I'd say Bob if I had to pick one.
Nice. So the game has changed so much since you played. Do you like where it's going, the game, or would you prefer like the rules and everything to stay where they were when you played?
Well, I love hockey. Listen, playoff hockey is the best hockey, right?
Yeah.
But watching during the season, often it's such a grueling schedule. You're not going to get every player at the top of his game every night. It's impossible. And I sometimes I don't like where the red line is not there anymore, because I think it makes it too easy on the players from a skill standpoint. If there was a red line in, and the team without the puck is trying to keep you from getting in their end of the rink, you would have to see a team now pass their way up the ice through the neutral zone to gain that offensive zone. Yeah. I think now it's a little, you know, generic, if you will, where sometimes the defenseman gets the puck, he shoots it up to the far blue line, the guy tips it, and then they go after it. Not every time, but if someone gets in trouble and they're not sure what to do, that's such an outlet for them that they use very often. And sometimes I think it waters it down a little bit. I think the skill level is really high. And I think these guys today, what they do out there with the puck and it's incredible. Like, I think the skill level overall has risen. These kids today, it's incredible. What they can do with the puck. But
Yeah.
I think with the red line in, it would give them an opportunity to kind of figure that out too. How are we going to find our way through that neutral zone? But the league doesn't want it. The league wants wide open, fast, and physical hockey because that sells. And I think Bobby Orr, and I don't hang on every word Bobby Orr says, but he said you put the red line in, it's better for the health of the players.
Mm-hmm.
If the league was really concerned about that, and it would be nice to see teams come up the ice together, 5 guys, and pass their way through trouble instead of just, throw it way up and chip it in. So, yeah, I tend to agree with him.
So I read something that it was, so you were just starting with the Canadians and you walked into the locker room and the only person there was Guy Lafleur. What impact did Guy Lafleur have on you? Why was he such a great teammate, and what made so many fans of the Canadians and so many people of Montreal love him?
Well, he was charismatic. He was also humble. When I would go to games, Guy would always, if we had an 8 o'clock game, he'd be there at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would get there at 4 o'clock. And I hated to stay home. Once I have my pregame meal, I'd take a nap and I'd wake up. I had a hard time sitting around in the house waiting for the game to start. So I would go to the rink and I'd get there early. I tape my stick, having a coffee, whatever. And when I started to do that, I noticed that Guy was there well before me. And he would go and tape his sticks. He'd have a coffee, we'd talk. And it was awesome to spend time with him. He was always
dedicated.
Yeah, dedicated. He really he loved hockey. And for me, it was an awesome experience because I got to spend time with him alone with no other players around.
Yeah. And
it was so cool because, we'd often talk about a lot of different things, family, different stuff. We talk about the game, maybe a bit how we grew up. It made our relationship stronger. And it was pretty cool to get close to someone who was such a great player. And people just absolutely loved Guy Lafleur. I loved him. He was a real good friend and just a nice person. Nice, a lot of fun to be around.
Now, what does the city of Montreal and the Canadians mean to you?
Well, listen, I always feel indebted to the organization because they gave me an opportunity to play in the NHL. Not only that, when I came here and they realized I could fight and I could be an asset to them, that was great. But what I loved about the Canadians is they wanted me to be more than just a fighter. And they helped me achieve that. I wanted to be a hockey player, and they wanted to help me achieve that. And they did. They worked with me. They put the time in with me. I certainly put the time in too. But I had great direction from my coaches. I had great help in working on some of the things that were going to make me a better player, working on things in practice with coaches, things that were I was working on in practice that I could apply in a game. And in turn, it would help me have success and the team. So yeah, and this city in the organization, I always feel indebted to, and always feel and want, not the need to, but the want to give back. And the fan base was always behind me and always backed me, and they had this affinity for me that certainly it's a great feeling when you have a, a whole building full of people that will back you, and for that I'm truly grateful. And I've been on the other side too, when I have the whole building against me. So when the building's going for you, it's a whole lot better.
That's awesome. So now we have a couple rapid fire questions and then we'll finish off the interview. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready. I love rapid fire.
What was your favorite rink to play in besides the Forum?
Boston Garden.
What fan base gave you the hardest time?
Boston Bruins.
What is your proudest hockey moment?
Winning the Stanley Cup. No doubt about it. It was awesome.
Who was the biggest practical joker on the Canadiens?
Guy Lapointe.
Who was the greatest leader you ever played with?
Bob Gainey.
Who was the toughest player you ever played against?
Ooh, there's so many of them. I'm gonna say Terry O'Reilly.
If there's one rule in the NHL you would like to change, what would that be? The red line?
The red line.
And finally, you have overcome a lot of adversity in your life. What is the best piece of advice you could give people who may be going through the same things?
Whenever you get knocked down, whenever you get knocked down in life, whatever it is, that you find it within yourself to get back on your feet and not stay down. A lot of people can often get challenged in life, and life becomes difficult and life becomes hard, and people will give up. And that's something I never did, no matter what the circumstance. And I've always accepted the consequences that were in front of me. Or if I got myself into a jam or anything, I've accepted those things and always moved on. But for me, there's been plenty of situations in my life where I was down or I did get knocked down. And it seems simple to say, but very difficult to do. And I always, when I got knocked down, I always got back to my feet. I never just laid there. And I think that's important thing in life for anybody, no matter if you're an athlete, if you're a mailman, you're a lawyer, you're whatever you do for a living in life, that when you get knocked down, you get back to your feet.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining my podcast. It was an honor meeting you, and I had a lot of fun with this.
Zander, that's awesome. Thanks. I appreciate you having me on, and I wish you all the luck in the world moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
How you doing? How you doing, by the way?
I'm doing very well. I'm a goalie in hockey, and I made a competitive team like that I've been wanting to make for a very long time, and I finally made it this year, and so far it's been amazing. Yeah, and I made a competitive baseball team that I've been wanting to make. I have a little sister. She's doing very well. My parents are doing very well. I'm doing well in school.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And health-wise, you good? Everything good?
Health-wise, yes, I'm good. I'm doing very, very well. Yes.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. And that's so cool. So how old are you now? 13?
I'm 13, yes.
Yeah, I have a grandson, 112 and 113. One of them plays football and the other one plays hockey. And yeah, it's pretty cool. cool stuff. So I see your curly hair there. You know, back when I played with the Canadians, when I first came, there's a picture on the internet. I don't know if you saw it, but I have really curly hair, just
Really?
like you. If I let my hair grow, yeah, I get real curly hair.
Really?
Yeah, look on the internet. You'll see the picture. I almost have an afro. But
Really?
my hair is wicked curly. When I saw you today, that reminds me of young Chris back in the day with the curly hair.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
And the
awesome.
girls love it. The girls love the curls.
Girls for the girls.
Yeah, curls for the girls. So,
Awesome.
you're right in Ottawa, right?
I'm in Ottawa. Yes, I'm in Ottawa.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. Ottawa's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Nice
a very
city.
nice city.
Yeah, it is. So,
Very nice.
what's your favorite thing about Ottawa? Is it the beaver tails?
I love Parliament Hill. I love the canal. I love everything about Ottawa. It's just such a beautiful city. It has all the seasons, and yeah, you could basically just do everything in Ottawa.
That's so cool. Have you skated on the canal a few times?
I did. I skated once and I bumped my head and got a black eye.
Oh, well,
It's
at
okay
least,
though.
at least you didn't get punched.
Yeah.
That's how I got my black eyes. But yeah, I love Parliament Hill too. It's pretty cool to see
Yeah.
the structure itself. It's amazing. Like I've been to Russia and I saw pretty cool Red Square.
Yeah.
And St. Basil's, that church you see often when you see Moscow. Red Square is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been architecturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really gorgeous, something to see. But I love architecture when I look at cities, and that's so cool about Ottawa for sure.
It's cool because a lot of structures could really tell you like a lot of stuff, and a lot of structures have a lot of history sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever been to Boston, where I grew up?
No, but we're planning to go to Boston soon.
Well, it's a beautiful city. It's
Yeah.
walkable. It's safe. It's got a lot of history. You know, they call it kind of the little Greece of the U.S. because there's so much history and culture there.
Yeah.
And yeah, and yeah, you'll have to let me know if you ever go. I can give you a few tips maybe on what to do.
That'd be awesome. I'd
no,
love to meet you someday.
Yeah, well, maybe someday we can. You ever get down this way, you can always reach out and get in touch with me. And if you come to Montreal, I'll make a point of coming to meet with you.
It'd be awesome. Anyway,
Right.
I want to thank you again very much. I really appreciated
Okay,
this.
Zander, listen, I wish you all the luck in the world with your podcast and good health, and be well, my friend.
Thank you. You too. Have a good one.
All right, you too.